Alright, so I covered PT. I should go over what jobs are in the Navy and daily routines other than sleeping and folding stuff. One thing that is going to be part of your everyday life is watch. You're going to stand watch probably once every 3 days if you have a group of 80 guys or 80 females. They call them males and females in boot camp. Just remember that. So don't be going around saying guy or stuff like that, or girl, because they'll yell at you and make you IT. Just those little things. But you will be standing watch. There are 2 watch standers that go every 2 hours usually. You only have to do 1 hour watches the processing week, so it's not that hard. You wake up for an hour and stand still, and then wake the next person up so he can stand watch, take your place. The person doing night watch night watch. He's the one that does the writing in the logs. Is it night watch or roving? One of those two is the only one that does writing in the logs. You'll learn how to write in the logs correctly. It's basically you just write the time. I've properly relieved. Blah 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 blah. They'll beat it to death. And you'll get yelled at when you get it wrong. So you'll learn. But the starboard watch makes the watch bill. The watch bill is just the list of people that are doing watch every hour or every 2 hours. But once you get out of processing, you'll do watch for every 2 hours. You won't, but it alternates people. More watch standers come in the next 2 hours, and it just kind of keeps going. You'll have to stand watch at night sometimes when you're sleeping. There's someone standing watch at all times. So that's the basic purpose of a watch. And it's going to be like that throughout your Navy career, even when you get to A school. I'm at A school. You stand watch. But as the weeks progress, you actually add in more time and watch. First week, obviously, an hour or so processing. After that, 2 hour minimums, 2 hours. And on between 8 and 12 and 12 and 16, you stand 4 hour watches, which night watch is very boring if you're just standing at the entrance of your barracks, that's what it is. You're just going to stand at the entrance and challenge everybody that comes in. Good morning, petty officer. Seaman Recruit Strickland. Night security watch. Standing by for further instruction. Petty officer or officer. Well, I mean not officer or sir. It's an officer. If an officer walks in, it's sir or ma'am. That's easy to remember. It's petty officer, petty officer. If it's a chief, senior chief, just state it correctly, and you'll be fine. Hold the intention until they say carry on, because if you let it drop, they'll yell at you and they'll IT you while you're on watch. So that's the night security watch. So the roving security watch just roams around the barracks and checks everything all right, goes into the head, makes sure everything's clean and stuff like that. So everybody will be doing this. Everybody in boot camp will stand watch multiple times. If I had to guess, I mean, you could do the math. On average, you'll stand it once every 3 days. Or once every 2 days if you have a small division, which stinks. And just do the math. Total days at boot camp divided by the watch ratio, which is once every 3 days. So 3 days, boom. There's how many watches are going to stand. So you can just make a little list and check them off as you go. But roving checks to make sure everything is correct. Like stuff on your rack is folded correctly not in. They can't open your racks when they're roving, but make sure the things that are hanging on the back of your rack are sitting there correctly. Shoes are stowed under the rack perfectly. They make sure that, because when they do that, when they fix those corrections, make those corrections, FQA has less to fuss about, so that's the purpose of that. And they also are in charge of waking people up early in the morning, like if you have the morning watch, to wake people up early in the morning so they can go to medical and stuff like that. That's only for people with appointments. You'll eat early chow. You'll get woken up around 5:15 at the earliest, and then eat early chow, then go to whatever appointment you have of the day. So that's watch. It's fairly simple. The person that makes the watch bill, the starboard watch, is one of the main jobs in boot camp. If you're very detail oriented, you'll be good at that. I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Starboard watch gets a lot of crap. if you're a starboard watch, you're gonna mess up a lot. You're gonna get yelled at more than anybody else in boot camp because it requires more work from you than any other position of authority in boot camp, even more than RPOC. RPOC is the leader of the division. It's the recruit, obviously. He's the person that gives the orders as a recruit. It's the recruit chain of command. So RPOC will tell you when to go to chow and when to fall out and stuff like that. So, but the starboard watch does way more work. They make the watch fill up, and they have to count for everybody that has appointments and everything that if people have appointments, they have to schedule somebody else's watch, and they have to make sure that the same person isn't standing watch like multiple times in a day. And usually there's a pattern to it, but we got a good starboard watch toward the end. He got yelled at a bunch. He got very depressed, but he got through it. The yelling just comes with that job. So if you want a starboard watch, that's your thing. There's other positions of authority in boot camp. I was the head PO, which means I made sure the bathroom, the head, was clean at all times. There's a bunch of things. It was really hard the first 2 weeks for me too, but I managed to stay head PO to the end. But what you have to do is make sure nobody pees in the urinals if you're a guy. I know that's hard, but it's less to clean because they have to be spick and span, nice and shiny. And the only way to make sure they stay nice and shiny is to have them piss in the regular toilets. It's a lot easier, and there's tons once you get to wherever your barracks are for the rest of boot camp out of P days. It's really easy. You just piss in a toilet. Just piss in a toilet. That's all you gotta do. It's easy to clean up. Clean up after yourself. Make sure the toilet paper rolls. There's a lot of little details that have to be taken care of. The toilet paper roll has to be cleanly cut off the toilet paper sheet. When it's pulled off, it has to be a nice crisp line. Can't be ripped into the next sheet. And that line has to be at 12 o'clock, right at the very top. Every toilet paper roll. Curtains pushed all the way to the left for the toilets. It's really easy once you get into the groove, but those first 2 weeks were kind of rough. We had a little cycle worked up. So if you're going to go head PO, I'd suggest you make people pee in the toilets. And pee sitting down if you want to. That's not a bad thing in the boot camp because some people can't control where their stream goes. I didn't touch the toilet but like 3 or 4 times throughout boot camp. I didn't clean the toilets 2 or 3 times. But like 3 or 4 times in boot camp just to make sure the people under me respected me. I have, as head PO, you have like 5 or 6 people helping you out. They're assigned to the head, and you just give them tasks. And I just switched them out. Every week they had a different task, and some days I'd just like the guy that cleans the toilet, so I'm like, I got you, and I'd do it. But make sure the showers are all clean. But that's enough about the head PO. That's a lot. That's really in depth. Let's go with the yeoman. The yeomans are the paperwork guys. Every amount of paperwork that has to be filled out goes to the yeomans. Any document you get from medical goes to the yeomans. The yeomans process that, make sure the RDCs know it, and they schedule appointments for you, and they keep track of everyone's appointments. So yeomans have if starboard watch is the worst, yeoman is probably the second worst as far as the workload is concerned, because they'll holler for starboard watch and the yeoman like every 5 seconds. Look at this logs, they're horrible. And for yeoman, why'd you write this? Why'd you write this on this sheet? They get yelled at a lot. But yeomans are at the bottom of the food chain as far as the recruit training command goes. Head PO. That's not really part of the recruit training command. Recruit chain of command. There's also forward hold watch. It's basically like the head PO, but they control the area with the cleaning supplies. So that's forward hold watch. You got laundry POs that does laundry, and laundry piles up. So if you're on your game, you can laundry POs actually can get away from certain duties in boot camp just to go do laundry because you'll fall behind fairly quickly, but you have to keep up with it if you're a laundry PO. It's one of the easier jobs if you're very detail-oriented. Head PO wasn't that bad once I got in the groove. Yeoman is going to be rough no matter what. Starboard watch is going to be rough no matter what. There's master of arms as far as this is part of the recruit chain of command. It goes Yeoman, Master at Arms, A-Rock, Arpak. Master at Arms, he controls field days, the cleaning up, go to the forward hold supply guy is like, hey, here's some cleaning supplies, and Master at Arms controls who cleans what during field days. Field day is just cleaning. It's just an hour of cleaning. That's all it is. And so Master at Arms decelerates little scuffles between the recruits, make sure everybody stays in line. You have section leaders. Section leaders are in charge of separate different sections of the bunks. The bunks go around and they just separate it off into sections. So this is a section leader. That's a section leader. That's a section leader. They have like 6. I think there's around 6 of them. That's their job. Make sure the people in their section are taken care of. Not taken care of, but have everything squared away. Things folded properly, bunk made up properly. And if they don't, they get chewed out for it. So honestly, well, I said Yeoman was at the bottom of the food chain. I think section leader and Yeoman are like equidistant, I guess, from to the bottom. Right there, they're right at the bottom. So they're the first in the chain of command. You let your section leader know he's supposed to take it up to Master at Arms or to A-Rock and Arpak. A-Rock's the second in command, above Master at Arms. Master at Arms tries to keep everybody in line, stuff like that. But A-Rock is just a glorified singer. It doesn't really have any authority except when you're marching, and he calls the cadence, stuff like that. He sings cadence. We had a fairly decent A-Rock. So if you have a good A-Rock, your division sounds great when you're passing along, marching past other divisions on the street. A-Rock, you're going to be singing for a while. So it takes 40 minutes. It took us 40 minutes to walk from that's a long march. 40 minutes to walk from our ship all the way back to Pearl Harbor. We had to go back there 3 or 4 times because that's where uniform issue is. Yeah, it's a long walk. And the pool's over there on that side of the base, not in Pearl Harbor, but a building nearby. And some of the training that you'll go through at the end of boot camp is over there too. So you'll have to march there quite a bit. Yeah. A-Rock will be singing a lot. There's a lot of right, left, right, left. If the A-Rock has some sort of rhythm, you'll be fine. It's not that necessary, but marching itself is a bit because if you're not used to marching, people have different styles of walking. So some people turn their feet out, which annoys the crap out of me because my feet go kind of straight. So when they turn their feet out, the heels come in and I kind of click them. I hate having long legs. I have longer legs, and marching beside someone with a weird stride, it gets on your nerves. But you're going to have to deal with it. It's going to happen a lot. That's enough about A-Rock. Arpak is the recruit division commander. They call him Arpak, but that's not he's the head recruit. Arpak is something. I forgot what the acronym is, but he leads the group, tells people where to go, when to halt. So Arpak is the top of the chain of command. So it'll go to Arpak first. So don't go. The RDCs want you to go through the recruit chain of command. So work your way up through section leaders, yeomans, Master at Arms, Arpak. Before you take it to the RDCs, the Arpak is supposed to take everything to the RDCs and figure out things for the day. He's in charge of knowing the plan of the day. Sunset, sunrise, stuff like that, and he's supposed to relay that to his division or her division. There's female division commanders. That's enough about that. What else is there? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. That's enough about leadership roles and stuff like that. All right.